one donation at the end of that run. Actually, two as I hit refresh. $10 from Cooking is Bravo, who says, kill the animals. Hashtag kill the animals, actually. Thanks for that donation. He's a good friend of mine. Glad to have you here. That brings Kill the Animals to $61, but it trails Save the Animals, which has 110. And we have $10 from Lucky Dude 217, who says, put this towards running Castlevania 64 with Carrie because Reinhardt is painful. Kappa. All right, we'll add that there. I don't think anyone's donated for Reinhardt yet, so.
Okay. We good to go?
Yeah, file name is Needle.
All right. All right, I'll give you a countdown. Is that good?
Yeah, that should be fine.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Go. All right, so this is Blast Dozer, which is very similar to Blast Core, if you're familiar with that game. The only difference in the speedrun sense is that you can't use the Z-Trick. Z-Trick, hold Z, you can blow up any building in your path, which you think would be really good, but it turns out it's only faster for a few buildings. And there have been several tricks found recently that have closed the gap between Blast Dozer and Blast Core. So they went from being like 5 minutes apart to like 45 seconds apart. So this run's actually pretty unique because it shows off those tricks that I can't show in a normal Blast Core run. So, hyped for that. I have to do these training levels first to open up the rest of the levels, but in the run, I'll have to collect, or I'll have to activate 6 scientists, I guess, and just complete the main 25 levels to activate the credits. I guess you want to know the story of the game, it's kind of silly. A couple nuclear missiles that are tied to this carrier that they started leaking or something, and the navigation systems are all messed up. So it just started to lock onto its course and drive in a straight line, so you have to blow up everything in its way to prevent nuclear fallout. Pretty genius story there. Lots of award-winning aspects to that. Alright, the focus for that part is kind of difficult. So yeah, that's the end of the first few training levels. Got our first promotion. You'll see several of these in the run. These are all just like different ways to say you're really good at blowing stuff up. Like a whole bunch of those that you don't even get to see. But here's the first level where we have scientists to find. And you have to find all 6 of these scientists so they can set up a controlled demolition. Oops. That's kind of the reasoning behind that. So what I'll do here is instead of finishing the level, I'll just go into this area and get them right now, because I have time to do it. It's kind of hidden in this train tunnel. Now there is a crazy trick you can do in this upcoming maze that jumps over walls, does a bunch of crazy stuff, but it's like frame perfect with no good visual cue, and then you have a coin flip after that, and if you mess it up, the run is basically over. You get stuck and have to restart the level, and you lose like 2 minutes, so I'm just gonna lay off doing that for now. I used to be able to do it like half the time, which is really consistent considering the nature of this trick, but I'm a little rusty at this game, so I'm gonna push my luck. Alright, so we got our first scientist. Yeah, so there isn't any difference between Blast Core and Blast Dozer up to this point. The first difference that you'll notice isn't until Outland Farm, which is a few levels from now, but there's going to be a building that I won't be able to see trick. You'll see that when it comes.
No trouble at all.
You'll see me going into carrier view a little bit in this level, which is when I look at the carrier from above. That view kind of reduces the lag from these very laggy buildings, because classic N64 game, it's drops down to like 15 FPS when it gets really bad, so you gotta avoid that. Now we have the coolest vehicle in the game. Fist.
Show us what you've got.
Go for it.
That's the first of the second set of training. There'll be one more later, and then I'll... Oops. Outside of those training missions, aren't any non-carrier levels I do, but if you do the 100% speedrun, you might be familiar with a bunch of bonus levels that you won't see in this run. Pretty cool. So this is the first level where carrier view I use here will save a significant amount of time. There's quite a bit of buildings here, and the Thunder Fist particularly makes a lot of lag when you blow stuff up. So yeah, as you might notice, it's kind of difficult to maneuver around when you can't see, but with a bit of practice it gets a little easier. Kind of just know where you're going. Our second promotion.
No trouble at all.
I think this is Ravager? Something Ravager. I don't remember the names of all the promotions, even in English, so no way I'll know them in Japanese.
I hope this works.
Right, bit of a risky thing there. Okay. If you get caught on those buildings, like if you touch the side of the buildings, start flying up them. You get stuck to them like glue. It's really dumb. So you have to make sure you slam them without touching them beforehand. Alright, so that's easy levels complete. Easy levels are just the first 5 carrier levels, and there's medium and hard levels to do also. Alright, last training level, Skyfall.
Try this for some.
Oops.
Good luck.
Shortest level in the game. Pretty simple, even though I messed it up.
No trouble at all.
So now we get to use this pretty difficult vehicle here.
I hope this works.
There's a couple cool things I can do near the end of this level. You'll see I can slide into a ramp. It'll give me some massive boost in the air here. Right there. So, as you might notice, if you're in midair, you just destroy any building no matter what, assuming it doesn't require TNT. So you use that to your advantage in the Skyfall.
You're just trying to
It
impress me.
can get air very easily. And that is a very cool glitch, where you just clip through the fence with a 2-frame window trick. Then once you get out of bounds, you start zipping for some reason. Pretty nice to have a zip in a 3D game. It's not seen very often.
Yeah, that sounds kind of rare.
And that is the first difference right there. Normally I would Z-trick that silo, but you can't do that.
Nice work.
You'll see another difference coming up in the next level.
No
Normally what I'm going to be doing in Blast Corps is just going to the statue and using the trick, but this new trick that I found, or that the Japanese community actually found recently, will allow me to do something cool here. I'll explain it in a sec. Get out and enter my vehicle from above ground. It also works from below ground too, if you enter it from below. But what this does is it kind of preserves my height. Like over here, for one frame when I come out of my vehicle, it still thinks my guy is in midair. So it just blows anything up instantly, including things that require TNT, like that statue.
Oh.
So yeah, it's pretty nice. And you'd think that'd be overpowered as hell, but there aren't very many places where you can reliably get into your vehicle from above or below quickly, so it kind of just helps in the 2 or 3 levels with really big detour.
It's cool that it at least has a use.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the second scientist for those. What you're supposed to be doing in this level is using the ram dozer. You'll either drive it or use the train to drive it all the way over here and you'll push some TNT blocks. But since you get the J-bomb sequence break style, you can just slam these buildings with relative ease. What you just saw there, I kind of got boosted back up. If you slam a building like a couple pixels before the next set of buildings that you touch, you kind of get boosted back up. It's kind of
Just trying to impress me.
not a reliable trick, but it definitely can save time if you get it. This level is kind of unique. It has a scientist I need to get, but I can't get the scientist and come back to the truck fast enough before the carrier finishes normally. Like if you take too long, the carrier will just reach the end of its route and the level will complete. So what I'll do is I'll get the scientist and just wait, because I can't make it back anyway. So it kind of turns it into an auto-scroller, which means you need to save as much time in the lag reduction as possible. Doing that whole section blind is really helpful because it's one of the laggier parts of the game. Oh wait, no, I gotta get this trick. Tokyo Drift. You gotta, like, there's nothing I can do to save time in this stretch, I just kinda have some fun. I have like 10 seconds of extra time or something if you play this well. Try to get this explosion off screen to save some frames too.
Do you have time to sneak a donation in?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, $50 from Yielder.
Alright.
You're just trying to impress me.
This level is probably the most helped by the carrier view mechanic. Skyscrapers are one of the laggiest things in the game. Definitely want to not see those explosions. It's funny, like the individual level time attack, if you do it without carrier view, it's like 19 seconds. If you do it with, it's like 15. That big of a difference. This is also a good donation level if you...
Let me hit a refresh quick. I'm not seeing anything new yet, but I guess I can remind people, it looks like, at least if my schedule's correct, you can still donate $10 or more during this block to be entered to win that copy of Super Marissa Land, so I guess that's probably because the last game was so short that people wouldn't have had time to donate, so if you're still thinking about trying to be entered to win that, you can donate $10 or more during this run. And some upcoming incentives that you can donate for. Cosmo's Castlevania 64 run is later tonight, and you guys can donate to decide whether he plays as Carrie or Reinhardt. Currently, Reinhardt has no dollars, so apparently you guys don't want to see that, but maybe somebody does. And also, later tonight, during the Mega Man block, we have Tonic, who is running Rockman and Forte, and the bid war there is to choose which character he'll play as. So, I don't believe anybody's donated for either character yet, so if you want to be the first, make sure to make that happen.
Alright, so yeah, this stretch of the run is probably the least intensive, but getting right back into the thick of it here in a second. We have the next level coming up that is affected by not having Z-Trick. What I normally would do is I'd take the train and I would use Z-Trick on the building at the end, you'll see. But I'll make use of another kind of trick that was known about for a while, but this application that you'll see me have use of it wasn't known until recently. It's kind of a quirky thing. Yeah, the train has a TNT block on it, so what I would normally do, and like the developer intended way, is to take it all the way to the end, and then use the crane, move the ramdozer onto the other side, and push the TNT into the building you see over here. But like I said earlier, if you're in midair, you can destroy any building. So I just get like 1 pixel of height there. Make use of my superhuman powers.
Nice work.
I still think that trick's really
Trying
cool.
to impress me.
Yeah, like normally the normal vehicles cannot destroy TNT buildings when they're in midair. Like you'll just bounce off them, but for some reason your player is just godlike and can destroy not only normal buildings but TNT buildings if he's in midair. It's kind of, the devs actually like recognized that and hinted at it in their guide or something, so they definitely intended for it. That's another scientist detour there. The thing about these missiles is that sometimes they'll just go through buildings and do no damage. Sometimes they'll destroy everything in their path. They're extremely random, so you have to kind of stay back and wait for them to do their business before you keep moving. Otherwise, you might run into something that doesn't just blow up when you think it will. Of annoying sometimes. This is the level that showcases that the most here. Using only 20 missiles for this whole level is extremely difficult. To conserve them very well. Okay. There's a hidden cyclone suit you'll see later in the run in one of the buildings that, for most people, I think they intended for you to use that. It's in that barn right there. You blow it up with the ballista and use the cyclone suit, which obviously doesn't require ammo, so
No
a
trouble.
little more noob friendly. This was probably the most execution. Well, it's the second most execution heavy level in the game. Anything with the backlash, this dump truck here, is generally pretty difficult. There are a lot of tough buildings here you need to maneuver around and destroy. Getting that bump there is kind of hard to do. Get stuck on the buildings really easily. But that went pretty well, I would say.
We got time for a donation.
Yeah, go ahead.
$20 from CFB. Drop the base. $10 to go toward Forte for Rockman and Forte. $10 to name a generic character in FFT Cosmic D12. Thank you for the donation.
Nice work.
This was a pretty decent run, I would say. My record for this is not very optimized. Like, it's relatively optimized, but it's still within the realm of possibility that if I have a perfect finish, I could actually get a PB. See if I can make it out of this level ahead, which is not very likely. This level is the longest in the game. It has quite a bit of dumb stuff in it. It's also the one that is most different from Blast Core, because the Z-Trick is used multiple times.
Uh-oh.
And normally you use this crane, but you can Z-Trick every segment of it if you're in Blast Core.
Stream's kind of hiccuping here. Are you okay?
Let me check one. My frames are fine. I'm not dropping any
There we
frames.
go. Okay, it's back. It just had
Yeah.
like a hiccup. We're good. Just had to make sure the chat was awake.
Okay, so we've got this destroyed now. We have to push some blocks. Everybody's favorite thing to do in Blast Core. There's actually some tech with these blocks right here. Not just given. I want to actually like lump these together and get them to separate right before. Okay. That was alright. Yeah, if you separate them like that, you can save a couple seconds. Not having to push the second one quite as far.
Oh yeah, that seems really tricky, but
I have no idea how I even do it. I just kind of do it. Got our last block here. So now this is the biggest difference here. This final building requires TNT, as well as the blocks that block the scientist's secret path. So I'm gonna do something. Try to destroy both of them in one fell swoop. It's that height trick again, which I just messed up. While I'm in midair. There we go. Now for some reason you can destroy this block. But if you don't get out of your vehicle, your height is still preserved. You can just drive over here and also destroy this. That's pretty nifty. But we can't get to that second block with the Z-trick thing, so another trick. Get into that. Dumb trick. Sick. There we go. You have to like move your boat a pixel at a time and just clip through somehow. Don't know why it works. Now we have another trick. So you get stuck between the boat and the wall and you just get kind of knocked up into the air, and that allows you to destroy the other one. But what you would normally do in Blast Core is you would clip, like I just did, but you wouldn't Z-trick that first block, so you'd clip and use the ram dozer to actually Z-trick the blocks from inside them. That's kind of cool. Now we have our second to last scientist here. But yeah, this level was excruciatingly long in the glitchless / Japanese only speedrun, because you'd have to do it in 2 cycles because you couldn't. There's only one TNT block and you have to use it for the final building, and you can't use it again for those scientist blocks, so you have to come in again. Waste a lot of time. So it's very cool that you can also one cycle this now with a new trick.
I have $10 here from Cryptoid98. You're just trying to impress me, aren't you? Put this towards Forte for Rockman and Forte.
Gotta love Amber.
No trouble at all.
Alright, so anyone who's played this game definitely remembers this level. Very difficult for the average player because the Backlash is one of the harder vehicles to use properly. There is a cool trick where you can get onto the railroad tracks and actually bounce over a few invisible walls and just destroy these buildings while you're on the train tracks, but the trick is so unreliable that I can't get it to work even at a 10% capacity, let alone enough for in a marathon run, so we'll just play it the old way for now. If I were to do RTA attempts, I would attempt to use that trick, but it would probably work less than 10% of the time, because you have to get 3 random bounces. The game just like randomly bounces you up every once in a while. You have to get those, and you also have to get a coin flip every time as well, and then you have to not mess up, which is also... But what am I doing? Brain fart there. Yes, my slight difference here. I have to use a TNT for that final building. It's a bit slower than using Z-Trick. I will finish it up. Yeah, that nudging technique you see me use, pretty cool. Peaches discovered it, and he named it PBJ because he was eating a PBJ while he found it. Probably the best. Yeah. That also works with like any other vehicle in most other levels, but it's only useful in the 80% run right there. This is a Cyclone suit. It's, for many reasons, the least favorite vehicle for speedrunners, because it's just completely random bullshit. Like, it's not random, but it's effectively random. You can't always...
Clunky, yeah.
Yeah, it's just clunky, it's weird, and will bounce off buildings in weird directions sometimes, and it just totally messes things up. But even though I had a couple of mistakes in this level, this is way better than it could have been. You can just get just totally trashed in this level if you have bad luck / bad execution. It was the one thing that made the difference in the AGQ 13 or 14 race between me. If this level was like good for him, we would have been like at even tie pretty much. So what I just did there, I got into the Skyfall, but sometimes you get into that Skyfall a pixel or so above the Skyfall. So I might be able to do a Super Z-Trick thing here. Oh, I wasted it. I might have been able to destroy that building. Because we actually knew about that for the longest time. Like, you're like, why does it... And that was the Super Z-Trick that we, finally figured out why it happened, and we're able to apply it to the other levels, such as Oyster Harbor and such. Uh-oh, I think my stream just hiccuped.
Yeah, it's hiccuping.
Alright, there we go, it's
Hopefully
fine.
It's just the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just it's fine on my end now, so hopefully it'll be good for the stream in a sec.
You're just trying to impress me.
There we go. Alright, final level. One of the laggier levels in the game, so I'm going to zoom in the camera here to get these explosions off screen. Just reduce the general amount of lag. Not that again. That kinda sucked. Alright, all good. And the last scientist is over here. Are done. I'll give you time in a sec.
Okay.
And time.
I stopped it at 28:45.
Sub 29 is pretty good for a marathon, I'd say.
Yeah, it's a really nice run.
So yeah, the the record for this is 26:45, but that uses a couple tricks that I don't use in this run, so it's about a minute and change slower. That's really good for a marathon because this run has a lot more weird tricks that you have to worry about, so not bad, I'd say. Hope you all enjoyed.
Yeah, thanks again for doing the run, and maybe we can get an update on Needle, see how he's doing.
Oh, let me check it out. I have his Nico open. Oh, looks like he's had a couple stretches of bad luck.
Oh no. Still cool that we managed to...
It's really cool. I'm
make
glad
that
he did
reset.
this. He's got 73 viewers on Nico, which is about 10 times more than it normally gets to, so there's a lot of
Wow.
interest there as well. I think the Nico community's noticing this as well.
Yeah, I've seen just on Twitter too, the amount of Japanese runners that are talking about the marathon. It's pretty cool. Well, thanks again for doing the run. Guys, be sure to give Grab a follow. You can check out on the schedule there. There's links to all the runners. And let's see. Up next, we got Castlevania 3. So the Castlevania block is starting right after the changeover here. So stay tuned, guys. We'll set up for the next game.
Alright. Well, I'm going to go ahead and head out. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Thanks, Grav.
See you later.
Alright. So up next we have Castlevania 3, and then it's 4, and then it's Castlevania 64. And Castlevania 4 is going to be a race. It'll be our first race of the marathon. Let's get K-Mac in here. Hello.
Hey, Golden.
Hello, hello. How's it going?
Good, good. Do I sound okay?
Yep, you sound good. Your stream is already up, correct? I see it here.
Yeah, I have it paused. I'll make some sound real quick.
Okay. Give me 1 second to readjust. Okay, I think that looks alright to me.
Alright. Well, I'm ready to go whenever, so...
Okay, give me 1 second here. I gotta clear the timer and update